Hi everyone, welcome back to Kidding Around. My name is Melanie Smith and I think it is totally terrific that you are here with me today on another Test Tube Tuesday. Today we will be talking all about stalactites and stalagmites. But before we do that, if you like what you're seeing here and want to follow along with all of Kidding Around's videos, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and below each video click the thumbs up. Also, if you really like what you're doing here, please share us with your friends. Thank you so much. All right, let's move on and talk about stalactites and stalagmites. Have you heard those words before? Aren't they fun? So stalactites and stalagmites are types of mineral deposits that are often found in caves. Stalactites are often long, thin columns of minerals that hang from the ceilings of the cave, and stalagmites rise upward from the floor of a cave. Both of them, stalactites and stalagmites, form over many, many centuries as water drips and deposits its minerals. And as you can see here, I have made several stalactites and one very large stalagmite. And I thought it would be fun to pass on that knowledge to you so that you can make your own as well. As we go along, we will talk a little bit more about how they form and why they form, and we'll also talk about one really cool place that you can go and see them in the wild, and you won't have to do anything. All you do is you just take your eyes to look. All right, so to do this experiment, you will need a few supplies. Let me just move my first one out of the way here so I can get busy making my next. All right, so the supplies that you will need some warm water. You will need some yarn and some scissors. You will need some baking soda. And you will need 2 jars or glasses that you do not intend to use for the next couple weeks. So don't use your favorite drinking glass. Use something that you won't need for a couple weeks. This takes a little bit of time, but it's so worth it. And then you will also need 2 paper clips. And you will need a butter knife or a spoon, that's to stir. And then you will also need a plate to go between your 2 jars. All right, so let's just go ahead and get set up. So the first thing that you are going to do is fill your jars with warm water. So you don't have to fill these all the way. Maybe 3/4 of the way would be the best measurement, and it doesn't have to be exact, just close to about 3/4 of the way. And then you are going to put your baking soda in these jars. So I can't tell you how much. You are going to figure out how much to put in by stirring it and watching it. So you are going to watch the baking soda as you stir it, and you want to keep adding baking soda until it stops dissolving. So this takes a bit of time. You'll just stir and stir and stir, and then probably the water will go relatively clear again. And if that happens, it means you need to add some more baking soda. So I'll do that here with both of mine, and you can see that it is dissolving pretty well, which is good, but that means that I need to add some more baking soda in. So just some trial and error. You just keep going until all of a sudden you see that that baking soda is no longer stirring in. So I'll put some in there, some more in there. It is amazing. It actually will take quite a bit of baking soda. So be prepared for that, and then stir, stir, stir. And sometimes, it kind of goes white and you think, oh, maybe I've found it, and then you realize all of a sudden it goes clear again. So just keep stirring. Definitely give this some time, because this is what makes your experiment successful or not. All right, so see, it started white, now it's going clear again. I'm thinking I can still add some more baking soda in there. All right, and we'll go another time. Maybe this will be our last time, maybe it won't. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, stir, stir, stir. As I mentioned, this is an experiment that will take some time. This will take probably a couple weeks. This one's been going 2 weeks, and it took a little bit longer than even I thought it would. but it's been really fun to watch. And so we'll talk a little bit about how you can watch it and graph it scientifically. Those observations are all about, science is all about observations, and they're very important in science. All right, so what do we think? Do we think I have reached the point that it is no longer dissolving? All right, I'm going to give this one final stir just to make sure, but I think we have reached the point. Let's see. All right, so you can see my water now is a bit whiter than it was when we started, and that's what we want. All right, so once you have those done, then you are going to cut the string or prepare the string, the yarn, that goes from one jar to the other. So what you do is you just cut a piece of yarn, and I know that I need it to at least go from the water here to the water here, and it's going to hang down in the middle. I'm also going to be tying these paper clips to it. So I am actually going to cut this yarn a little bit longer than I even think that I need to. It's always easier to be able to cut it down than add more. Of course, if you need to add more, you can, or you can get a different piece of yarn. But I'm just cutting it a little bit extra long, just in the hopes that I don't have to add more. All right, so I just double knotted my string there around my paper clip, and then here, I'll show you on this one too what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put that string, that yarn through, and then I am going to try to measure about how long I want that to be. I'm just eyeballing things. Nothing's exact here. That's okay. So anyway, I'm going to cut it where I think I want it tied. And then with my yarn through my paper clip, I am going to tie it. So I will make a loop with, or I'll make a cross there. See how my yarn went across the other piece? I'm holding it there with my thumb. And then I'm going to bring that end up through the loop that I created when I made that cross. And I will tie it tight. And then I will do it one more time. And there, I have my paper clip attached now to my yarn. Now I am going to drop that down into my jar, and then I will kind of spread them apart so that the paper clip is kind of standing up, and maybe there's a little bit of a swag, a little bit of a, what would you call it? It's called a swag. A little bit of a swag there between the two jars. And then I will put my plate in between the two jars underneath that yarn. Now is where the weighting begins. So this water that has baking soda in it is going to start traveling up the yarn and over, and it will come from both sides. And as you can see here, it leaves little deposits along the way. So you can see, let's see, let me put this over here in front of me so that I can put that purple background behind it so that you can see what's going on. So you obviously won't have to do all this moving around. All right, let's see. But I want you to be able to see what's going on here. So you can see these glasses started out just like these, completely clean. And you can see that that water with the baking soda traveled up the yarn and left deposits on the jars. It also, I said I would do this and then I didn't do it. It also left deposits all along the yarn. So those are stalactites, and that is exactly how stalactites are formed in nature. The minerals in the water are deposited along the way that the water flows. And then we have down here this really tall stalagmite. Now I have to tell you, I knew that I was going to get little stalagmites, but I didn't know that I was going to get this one big one, and I love it. I think this one big one is so funny. And it formed exactly the way that stalagmites in nature form as well. So this water came down, it traveled down the yarn, and then it dripped. And it dripped, and it dripped, and it dripped. And I also have to tell you that this whole plate was wet for just about a week. It was just wet. I could tell that there was a little bit of baking soda in it. There were a few little crystals, but not much that I could tell going on. And it seems like overnight, this thing just grew up, because at the point that it started growing, all of this water was just drip, 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 dripping down on to that plate. So that's the way stalagmites are formed as well in nature. They're both fun words. The interesting thing, the way that I remember stalactites versus stalagmites, if you look at the word stalactite, you see the C in it. And that's kind of the difference between stalactite and stalagmite. There's a C sound and there's a G sound. Well, I remember that C sound, stalactite, that C is ceiling to me. That makes me think of ceiling. And that is where stalactites grow. They grow down off the ceiling. Stalagmites with the G grow up from the ground. So that G helps me remember ground. So if you want to remember, if that helps you, go for it. That is a great way to help me remember, at least. All right, so what you are going to do when you reach this stage is you are just going to wait. It will take a couple days for things to start moving. If you want to speed it up just a little bit, you can take your yarn and you can dunk it into the solution, get it completely wet, and that will help it just kind of start moving just a little bit. But I will tell you, there is some waiting in here that you have to do, and that's okay. That's just part of science. While you are waiting, you can start graphing and observing what's going on with your stalactites and stalagmites. Below this video, I have a link to a chart that you can use to record your daily observations. You write the date down and you can talk about what you see forming each day. And then once you actually start getting things growing, like here, these stalactites on the yarn or the stalagmite, then you can start measuring. You take your ruler and you measure how high it is today. You note that down, and then the next day you do the same thing. You measure it again and you see how much these things have grown. You can also count the number of stalactites that you get, and you may get something like I got. You also may get something that grows down a lot like this one grew up. So your stalactite may be a lot longer than my little stalactites here. Your stalagmite may be a little bit shorter, or yours may actually fuse and they may come together. It's really cool to be able to observe that and figure out. You can predict what happens, and then you can actually see what happens. And you can also know that in nature, that these things happen just the same way. Sometimes they're small, sometimes they're big. It just depends on the water flow and the minerals and all things like that. If you're interested in seeing stalactites and stalagmites in nature, there are many places that you can go to look. But one very famous place in the United States is called Carlsbad Caverns. Carlsbad Caverns is in the state of New Mexico, and 250 million years ago, a shallow sea covered the area, but as the earth changed, an underwater reef was buried under deposits of minerals like salt and gypsum, and then rainwater seeped into the resulting cracks, which mixed fresh water with the salt water, and that is what led to the formations of the stalactites and stalagmites. A little bit more about the caverns themselves, I found this very interesting, that they remained unexplored for many, many, many years until a teenager, someone not that much older than you, wandered into them by accident. So he explored all throughout the caverns, and he gave many of the rooms and formations the incredible names such as King's Palace, Bottomless Pit, and Witch's Finger. Are those great names? They are so descriptive of the items that you find in those caverns, and I feel like they were totally appropriately named because they were named by a teenager too. I just love them. You know, this really goes to show that it doesn't matter how old you are. You absolutely can make a difference. You can learn about things, and you make a contribution to life every single day. I think that's really cool. All right, well, we check back in on our experiment, and as I told you, it will take some time. I do see, I don't know if you can see, I do see that there is some water now wandering along this piece of yarn, and it's starting to drip. So now we wait. We chart, we observe, we wait. And in a couple weeks, you will have stalactites and stalagmites. I would love to see pictures of the stalactites and stalagmites that you grow. Please ask a grown-up to take a picture of yours and put that on our Facebook page. Well, I am so glad that you joined me today to learn about stalactites and stalagmites, and I realize I'm saying those words a lot, but they are just fun words to say. Anyway, I hope that you will join me on Thursday. We're doing another Thoughtful Thursday video. I can't wait to spread some kindness around the world with you. But until then, thanks so much for joining me for this one. Thanks so much for kidding around with me. I will see you next time.